like that, like that, it's like that, like that, it's like that, it's like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that.
Welcome. I'm your guy, Kinetics, Kenny B of E3 and Discourse Syndicate. I just wanted to come out here, guys, today. I got some really cool guests here. I've got a project that I'm really excited about, and I'm hoping to get a little more information from them so you and I as a community can learn about this together. If you guys will go ahead and hang with us, all you crypto junkies out there, let's go ahead and get the round of applause for Mr. Extrovert, J Money, and Triplet Dad. How are you gentlemen doing today?
How are you doing? Nice to see you.
Yeah, man, it's nice to see all three of you gentlemen again. I got pretty excited about your protocol. See, here's what I want to throw out here to the community first. I saw you guys moving for almost a year now on this project, so maybe I'm incorrect, but I'm pretty confident that exactly what you guys are doing, you guys have the first mover advantage on this. And so I just want the community to be aware of that because you guys are doing some amazing things out there. I like that this is going to be a great onboarding tool for newbies that don't necessarily know how to manage their stakes or don't want to sell their hex, but still want some kind of passive income, a yield of some sort. Can one of you gentlemen go ahead and take me through your 30-second elevator pitch of what it is you guys are doing?
Thanks for having us on, bud. Really appreciate it. 30-second pitches. I'm a Hexican. I had Hex staked. We had that large run up in the bull market, made gas fees unbearable. Gwei was crazy. Paid $500 to exit my stakes, and that bore this, right? We wanted to make it so the gas fees were split. We wanted to pool those stakes and have the exit out of those stakes. That cost the S-load fee function within Hex to be split amongst the community that was involved in that pool. And we've taken that idea and we've put game theory all over it. We've run it on spreadsheets, on flow charts, and we found all the gaps within this over the last year. And now we're making it a sound project. It's in the hands of the devs now, putting it together.
Right on. Do any of you other gentlemen want to add anything to that before we go on?
No, I think you covered it pretty well, but you did hit it on the head. I think we're not going to get caught up in who was first. I think there's room for everyone.
And that's just an observation from me because I know you guys have been talking about this for over a year. I know we've talked probably several times over the last year. And so I know it was an idea that you guys even originally brought to Power City. I think they're just trying to tackle so much stuff right now that maybe your project wasn't the one that they wanted to push to the front. So you guys decided, hey, we're just going to go ahead and do this on our own.
Exactly.
That is pretty much in a nutshell. That is, you're spot on. You have a good memory.
Well, you know, when you talk to the movers and shakers in the community, there's kind of a we all know that there's the crybabies that have never built anything on Twitter. You know, the Pareto principle. There's the 80% of the community that's great. There's the 20% that are loud and trying to call everybody out for BS, and it's usually BS as it is. And there's almost an underground network of movers and shakers here within this community that are actually still communicating in the background saying, hey, you're working on stuff. You're someone that maybe you can put me in touch with someone. Maybe you can help us out with this. And so there's a lot of, I wouldn't call it grumblings. I would just say, hey, there's almost an underground network within this community of people who are actually building stuff to enhance this community. And you tend to throw ideas back and forth. And it's actually a relatively small pool. So it's pretty easy to remember those things when someone comes to you with a good idea and a big idea like this. So it was pretty easy for me to remember. It's not that I have the best memory in the world. I just appreciate you guys, coming to me to let me know that you guys are building some things, and maybe if we could network some good talent together, we could make some synergies happen there. So that's just all that comes down to. And that, again, is a huge testament to how great most of this community really is. So thank you guys for just ignoring the BS and just continuing to chug along to build, because that's what's most important. If the community wants it, we have to build it. Richard Hart cannot build this integrated infrastructure, this vertical infrastructure by himself. He needs people like us to do stuff. We're trying to bridge legacy finance with trusts and wills and trying to protect your legacy wealth for the next generation. And then we've got other guys who are building on top of his protocols. You guys are brilliant. You guys have learned how to, or you guys have seen the value similar to what Alex did of building off the T-share, because everyone who's actually in this community that understands how Hex really works understands that the power is not in Hex itself, but in the T-share. So I think that is really cool. You guys, not financial advice, do your own research. No one here on this screen knows what your risk tolerance is, what age bracket you're in, if this is right for you, if it's something that makes sense for your portfolio, if you've got too many coins to track. We don't know any of that, guys. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that, you decide whether you hit that red sell or the green buy button. That's totally. We just want to bring to the forefront some of these things that we believe might be able to enhance the community. And if nothing else, guys, just keep paying attention to what these guys are doing, so you guys can be in on the not necessarily the action, but you guys can be in the know-how as to how this enriches the community going forward. So I got a question for you guys. Tell me how the MCR 369, I know a lot of the tokenomics you guys are keeping under wraps right now. You've got some other people that you're worried may try to take advantage of the tokenomics, the brilliant tokenomics you guys have come up with. So tell me what you can regarding the MCR 369.
Yeah, so the MCR 369 token is going to be a standalone pool token. It's going to be stakeable. And anything that we build, any dApps that we build associated with Steakhouse, the bistro, the OTC, and any future dApps that MCR is responsible for is going to generate some fee structures from those platforms, and those fees will generate into that pool. And anybody that's staking in that pool will earn passive income in the form of the native gas token. So if we're on the Ethereum side, you're going to be getting a passive income of ETH. And if you're on the Pulse chain side, you'll get a passive income of the Pulse chain. There are some other tokenomics in there that are related to the Hedron and possibly some Hex, but we can get into those later as we discuss more of the Steakhouse protocol specifically.
So what this tells me is that you guys have plans to build other protocols that are also going to leverage this MCR 369 token, and you're probably going to surprise some people in the future how you're going to be able to build additional protocols, so to speak, on top of this that create another line of passive income. Is that correct?
That's correct.
There will be some surprises.
That's correct.
And if that phrase doer and shaker is not an actual real term, that should be, because doer and shaker is better than mover and shaker.
That's true. That's true. There's those that move and there's those that do. There is a difference between the two. Absolutely.
Yeah. Due to the competitive nature and some of the things in the background, that we have got NDAs in place. So even if we wanted to discuss them, we couldn't.
That's wise. We, in a lot of our businesses, we have a lot of NDAs, and it's just because so I trust guys like you guys because you guys have been around since the beginning. I've seen you in all the chats. I've seen you in all the streams. I've seen you in the Hex, Telegram and the Pulse chain Telegram rooms long before you guys ever had anything planned for this. So it's nice to have that base that you guys know that you're part of the same community. You guys sat through the FUD like I did, like me and RG and Hexo did. And you thought, hey, let's find a way to enrich this community. And so it's even though we have that, sometimes it's just nice to have that extra little padding, because there can always just be that one bad actor that tries to take a good idea and just ruins it all for everybody. So
yeah, and truth be told,
why not to have NDAs?
Truth be told, we've had our core following, which is growing and been quite large ever since we did facilitated the community sacrifice pools. Have been pleading with us, release something, release a token, do something. And we're like, well, we will do it when we find something that needs solving and we're comfortable that we can solve it. We didn't want to just release something for the sake of releasing something.
We want
It
to
has
have
to
a
have
product
product
market fit. Yeah.
Correct.
Right.
100%.
It's
And just-
really important to just sit back and observe for a while. And if you stay in this community over a period of time and keep your mouth shut, help out when needed, and just take a look at your surroundings. What are people complaining about? What are they happy about? It doesn't have to be all about complaints. Everybody's happy about bigger pays, better bonus. Everybody's happy about longer pays, better bonus. Everybody's unhappy about gas fees. That's going to be that way forever. So looking at everybody's disgruntled about having extreme amounts of slippage on tokens that have low liquidity within pools. Those are things that we thought we could tackle. And I believe we're the first movers in both those sectors.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm glad we talked about the MCR token first, because it's really a testament of what we're about here. We could very easily throw up these fees and just throw them to a bank account and be happy campers the rest of our lives.
Yeah, but you guys have done something really interesting here with this. So tell us how you guys plan on doing token distributions for a more fair launch.
So we are holding a sacrifice phase. It is launching on March 17th at 00 UTC. So for those of you in the United States, like ourselves, Ty and I, that's going to be Thursday night around 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, kind of in that time range there.
The same calculations every day.
There you go.
Smart.
So 00, that is going to have a capped sacrifice amount.
Target.
A target amount of 1.369 million, and that's a target amount. And some game theory behind that, or some of the distribution of how that's going to work, is if that 1.369 target is reached, let's say in the third day, we're going to roll out the rest of that third day to 00 UTC, and then there will be a 24-hour timer that starts for one full day of 24 hours beyond that, and that's kind of your last chance to get in to that sacrifice at that point. March 17th, which is
17th.
next.
It's all on our website. Everything's outlined. What the political statement is. There's no pool. There's no bigger pay like a volume multiplier. We want what we've learned through the different sacrifices that have gone on, and the volume multipliers and all that was why we ended up running some of these community-driven pools, because people were pleading with us, hey, can you help us? We want to try and get a better multiplier, all that stuff. So we only ran or facilitated those community pools where it made sense, not just for the sake of running one. So we've learned from all of those, the journey, how to make something where it took away all of that. There was no need to have a pool for a sacrifice. Yep. It really just come down to like timelines. On our website, you'll see that it says there's a multiplier for 1 to 5 days. It doesn't matter how much you put in. There's a loyalty bonus for anyone who has been in the community-driven pools that we've facilitated in the past. And if they haven't, there's still an opportunity, because there is one open for free carpet ride for the Free Pulse guys, Victor and Felix. So they can actually become loyal, I suppose you could say, if they think outside the box. But we did want to reward, put a loyalty in there for all the people that have followed us all the way. And we didn't realize how impactful this was until we went to Vegas, and everyone that met us at Vegas, and we didn't even know half of these people, but they knew us by our names, and said that they'd been in all of our pools, and they thanked us for the opportunity. It really took us back. It was quite overwhelming.
Signed my couch.
Yeah, I see the signed couch there behind you. I love it.
Why don't we pull up the website if you want to jump on there? It's got kind of some of those details you can show in writing there.
Yeah, it's up to.
Yeah, I'll pull it up here in just a second. Give me 1 second. Okay. I just one thing I liked about this is I say middle fingers up to the naysayers out there that think you guys shouldn't get a token allocation. You've created this beautiful thing, and you shouldn't be complimented with any kind of profit from your own work. And I say nonsense. And so that was kind of what I was alluding to earlier, because you guys had told me, prior to this stream, how you guys planned on doing that token distribution for you and your team. Can you guys go through that while I pull this this chart up, or this your website up?
Sure. So the team members actually don't get token allocations, right? The protocol has an allocation, and that protocol will cover all future expenses regarding servers and anything that's an operational expense. And once that pool gets to what we consider a prudent reserve of operation time, so we're looking at doing this 15 years at least, right? Hex is a 15-year rolling market. So we have a prudent reserve in mind. Once that level is achieved within that pool of tokens, we will start distributing to the team after that, but only after that.
I love it. I think there's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I think that's actually a very fair way to do it, and you guys yourselves are planning on doing this long term, so it's not a cash grab. We're going to dump these tokens on your head. It's a, hey, we're going to participate in these pools as well, and because you believe in the product that you're building. We
only get paid if we're staked, and we're staking right along everybody with that has our tokens.
I love it, but at the same time, you guys deserve the fruits of your labors, and so Richard Hart did, and I think he should be a good example of whether it's him or an African priest. There is an OA, and there is going to be some allocation to potentially some people in his team as well, and I don't see any problem with that. So anyone out there that wants to fudge you guys on that, you've got my full support. Not that I mean anything. I'm just a little guy out here, and I'm a little fish in a big pond out here, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to someone who does entrepreneurial endeavors, it's hard to have the fruits of your labors go unrewarded, because I've done it. I've failed at a lot of things, and I've done very well at a few things, and I've failed at more than I've done well in. And I think that everyone that builds something good deserves to see some kind of reward for it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up this. Go ahead. I
think everyone's got their own take on it too. Like, quite often there's some people that bark quite loud. And they've just done it a different way. Whether it's an essay, a BA, a mystery box, they've all got their own little spin on things to do it a different way. If you take away all the smoke and mirrors, it's all the same.
Right.
Yeah, and we come from a community where the people that have built these things, the people who have had successful coins, let's take Alex, let's take Richard Hart, these guys, they've shown that as they've become whales within the system, they've been very benevolent, I guess is the word the community likes to use a lot. And I think that's been a good example for us that have been in this community for a long time and that are building things, that there's a benevolence
guys too, right?
Absolutely.
There's like a couple of products that have been built on top of Hex that are rock solid. Alex's entire little ecosystem he's got over there with geometric shapes, rock solid. And the Staker app guys, solid dudes. And we're not looking to we're not going to be flaunting a Gucci tracksuits and a Ferrari. We might be in an Adidas tracksuit with a Ford, right? but
I drive a Ford F-150, so you guys, you're dear to my heart if that's what you guys end up driving. So. Well, I've got the website pulled up here. You got it here. Where would you like me to steer me?
That's actually the Steakhouse website. That's still under development. We just had that up initially when we came out with Steakhouse, and this one just really talks about the problem. So it's a little 2-minute clip on that. We can go back to
that link up in the top left-hand corner, Kinetics, and it'll take you to the Magic Carpet Ride site.
Yeah. Not a problem. Let's bring that up then. And here we are, guys. All right. I like it. So is this going to be the homepage for all future products that revolve around the MCR369 token?
Correct.
Now,
Fantastic.
just a warning: if you turn the sound on for that, don't do it right now. If you turn the sound on, you may get a not a strike, but you won't be able to monetize your stream if you do, because the sound clip to that hype reel will. It's not meant to, but it does. So I'm just pre-warning you so you don't affect your monetization of this stream.
I do appreciate it. I wasn't even planning on turning on the monetization, but thanks for the reminder, and we will do that. So we'll refuse to put the audio on for now. Any of you guys can go check this out. What is this website again? Can you tell everybody what the website is here, and we'll put it in the description below?
MCR369.io.
Okay. Yeah, and for all of you guys out there that don't understand accents from another land, that's .io. So where would you guys like me to go on this? Because I like the idea of this. I see you guys have got the sacrifice already up in here. Got more of the details.
You can just go from left to right, from about, just move across.
Okay.
So yeah, it basically just goes, it just talks about what the MCR 369 is about, the actual token, the protocol. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a red disclaimer down there, or informative statement that we're deliberately not going to talk about, go too deep because of the competitive nature in the space at the moment. So we are going to keep some of our IP close to our chest.
All right. Not a problem there, guys. I think that's wise. I don't think there's any issues with that because it doesn't have a tab for it. Excuse me, yet, but you guys have already told me that you guys plan on getting audits for this thing. So that's the ultimate, I think, most important thing to this community is no one in this community likes non-audited software. And so can you guys tell me a little bit about that?
So it will be trustless, immutable, audited. Mm-hmm. Multiple audits. We are.
No admin
we're in the Builders Guild, and we've seen some of the discussions in there already from Alex and some of the other guys that have had some smart contracts audited, and their experiences and who they felt was better, and some of the challenges with some of the audit companies. So we definitely want to use high end first and foremost audit companies. One of those companies will be CoinFabric that did audit Hex, but we are looking at choosing another audit company for a second audit as well. And that'll be for everything we build. So Bistro, the same, MCR, the same, and Steakhouse, all the same.
So as we move across this here, during the sacrifice, the points are going to be $1 per 100 points plus a multiplier plus 5% MCR loyalty bonus if you sacrifice in any one of our pools. So can you explain that? Just give us a quick breakdown on that. I don't think we need to go too into depth on this.
You want to do that? Someone take it?
Sure, I'll take it. So basically from days 1 to 5 after the sacrifice starts, as long as the target has not been reached, then you can still sacrifice. You're going to get a 0.45% multiplier, or not a 4.5%, but a 45% multiplier. So that comes out to 145 points per every dollar. And then as Ty stated before, if you sacrifice through one of the pools that was facilitated through MCR 369, back for PulseX or liquid loans and so forth, there's an additional 5% loyalty bonus on top of that. Then we go down to days 6 through 10, and you get a 25% increase with the additional 5% loyalty. And you do have to sacrifice from the same wallet. It has to be traceable on chain, that it was the same wallet that sacrificed for one of those pools. And then day 11 on, it's a 1-to-1, and of course the additional 5% loyalty bonus.
Okay, and so, well, actually, I don't have any questions on that. I think that's very self-explanatory. I don't think we need to beat this dead horse.
We wanted to keep it simple. We didn't want to spend hours trying to explain point system and just simple and as fair as possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like that, guys. I like that. So your rules here. Can you break down these rules for us real quick?
The rules are pretty simple, right? It's mimicking most of the sacrifices that you've been through before. If you sacrifice for multiple wallets, if those wallets have been involved in our sacrifices before, you're going to be able to get 5% on one wallet, 5% on another wallet. So it doesn't really make sense to stack wallets in this thing, right? Multiple sacrifices from the same wallet will stack up. So if you did one on Thursday next week and one on Friday, those 2 points will be combined, and you will have a multiple of points, and the multipliers of that apply to that particular day, whether you're on days 1 through 5. So the 0.45 plus the 0.05, they'll be stacked onto that.
Okay.
Very simple.
And then it just runs through what chains to use.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's really important that people understand which chains. I know it says here, but if someone could just run through that for me real quick.
Yeah, and we'll get through onto that. It's a bit clearer later on as well. But Ethereum mainnet, BNB Smart Chain, which was formerly Binance Smart Chain, Avalanche and Phantom. And then over on the right, you'll see that it's sacrifice from your own wallet, not from an exchange.
Yeah.
From time to time,
that's important, guys. On any of these sacrifices, never sacrifice from a centralized exchange. The centralized exchange is going to get credit for it. You guys are not going to. So if you decide to participate in this, if it's in your risk tolerance, if you're not spending the rent money and you find it's a good idea for you to do that, then you guys make sure you do it from a wallet that you control, even if you're setting up your own wallet, a new wallet. And sometimes I recommend that if you're not getting if you haven't sacrificed for any of the other pools where you're going to get a loyalty bonus, it may be a good idea to get a new ledger, a new Trezor, and start a whole new address just for that purpose, guys.
Yes, sir.
Start a new address and throw $5 at freepulse.io, and you have the 5% bonus.
Well, free carpet ride. Don't do it through the other.
Free carpet ride.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then the participation and the disclaimers, they're the things that everyone has known and read before. But we advocate, go read the entire website. We've made it very easy to consume. You consume it in under 10 minutes. We don't think that we're going to get a whole lot of questions, and that appears to be the case in our Telegram already. And then if you go to the listed tokens, it does make it a bit clearer, the chains and the tokens as well. Don't worry.
So I don't want us to glance over that too quick. For that loyalty bonus, go tell me again how you can qualify real quickly for that if you haven't done any of the other sacrifice pools.
Sure. And people have already asked, and they are doing it. We have a community pool open for freepulse.io, and our Telegram room for that is Free Carpet Ride. It's been running maybe a year now.
Yep.
A year. That's just the way that FreePulse.io have set it up. They basically they really pushed us early on to help them market it and get it out there. And then another pool opened up, so we sort of had to pivot to compete. But their official, they call it a dedication phase. Their official dedication phase doesn't start until mainnet goes live, and it goes for a couple of weeks. So that pool's actually open indefinitely until Pulse Chain opens, so maybe 2 more weeks. So if they go and put, there's no minimum. If they go and dedicate in there, and we've got links in our Telegram group for there, they could simply put $5 in there, and then they're going to get the 5%.
And that's freepulse.io.
That's the project, but our community pool for that is Free Carpet Ride Telegram.
Free Carpet Ride, guys. We'll put that in the description below as well. So I think that's important. So as we go on, there is going to be certain tokens you guys will be accepting, and so we'll highlight these here. But make sure you guys go to mcr369.io to make sure to click on that listed tokens. You will not get credit, from my understanding, if it is not any of these. So we want to make sure that these are the ones that people are looking to sacrifice if they decide to participate. Is that correct?
Yeah, and we've just tried to lay it out very clear, 4 chains, the tokens that are accepted on each chain. So I think it's pretty clear and easy to digest.
Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. I want to, at this point in time, I would like to move into how these stake pools work. How what are the mechanics behind it, and how can someone get involved in either joining someone else's pool or creating a pool of their own? And what are the timelines that are available to do so in the way of the stake length?
So I would like to, we keep stressing on when we launch into this, how to start a pool, but
You've muted
And
yourself.
we lost him.
You've muted
you
yourself.
brought up a good point. I would like, am I still muted?
You're good now.
Okay. I would like to make sure, if you would like to be involved in a staking pool, go to the ones that are currently open first before creating a pool, before going and saying, hey, I want to do a 3-year pool. I want it to come out March this time in 3 years. See if there's an existing one open that's close within, the 30-day window of what you're trying to do, because there might be something out there that's already achieved a massive bigger pays better bonus, and it's coming out around your timeline. I don't want people to create pools for the sake of creating pools, right? But
well, it creates a low liquidity event, and I know you guys plan on. We'll talk about here in the future, or very shortly here. We'll talk about how you guys plan on solving that problem. But it can technically be a problem if there's a low liquidity event, as far as pools are concerned.
Sure. So go in. We're going to have the current pools sortable, right? So you're going to see which pools have closed. So pools that have opened and hex is out, right? And with the potential to claim your hex. There's going to be pools that are currently open and available, or in current live pools, right? So you can see your progress. And you're going to be able to sort those criteria by length of time. So let's say I want to do 3 years or whatever. You'll be able to see where bigger pays better is actually in play on certain pools. There's going to be hot ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
If none of those match your criteria, you have a very specific staking ladder that you're trying to put together, and you see a gap on Hexfire or wherever, right? Go put it out there, start a pool, bring it and get involved. That's awesome. Go in there, say, I would like to create a 4-year pool, and I would like to leave this pool open for the next week for other people to join. And those are the only 2 things that you have to do to start that sucker.
Yeah, it's pretty important to note that it's essentially a self-directed pooling protocol. Okay, so it's you and the contract. You initiate the pool. You tell it that you want to open it for 1 day to 30 days. That's the maximum it can be open for. And at the same time that you stipulate how long you want it open for is the same time you say how long this is going to go for through the Hex native staking contract. And as you know, that is from 1 day to 5555.
Fantastic. So it's just going to follow the same protocol of the Hex staking mechanism that we're already familiar with, most of us here in the community.
Right.
Yeah, technically, all this is a front end that allows the pool, and then it allows you to start the stake through the Hex protocol.
So I want to talk about your participation in the pools. It's going to be possible, and I don't know how you guys did, encapsulated stakes, so to speak, within this, but you're going to be able to sell off if you have to. Say you have a major life emergency, but you don't want to sell your whole percentage of the pool. You're going to be able to fraction that off and be able to sell portions of your participation or your percentage within that pool. Is that correct?
Yeah. So basically, there's a receipt token that's unique to every pooled stake. So just like when you stake in Hex, there's a unique stake ID. This will have a unique pooled stake ID. And so if you were to put in 100,000 units of Hex, you're going to get 100,000 units of that pooled stake token. It's like a receipt.
Yep.
A position in that pool. Because there's potentially going to be lots of these pools, there's going to be lots of these unique pooled stake tokens. So it wouldn't really make sense for someone to start liquidity pools for all of these different tokens. I mean, they could because it's a free market, but unless there's a really big pool with enough of the tokens, then maybe it just doesn't make sense. The reason we're having the receipt token, because there is other ways that this could be managed, but we realize, like in Hex, if people have an unfortunate incident in life and they need to get out, they get penalized. So we wanted to have an opportunity where people could extract value on many levels, from a small percentage to 50% to their entire position, should they need to, along the way, in case something unfortunate happens and they need to extract some value. So that's the reason why we've done it this way, because like NFTs are awesome, but it's an all or nothing deal.
Yeah.
Yes. So you're either selling your whole position or not. Equally, people who are selling positions, well, people are buying positions.
Yeah.
So you might need value now, and you deal with whatever's happening in your real life, but then you might get back in later. You might buy back into positions in any pool.
Absolutely.
Or the same left, and then so that's where our OTC or bistro came about, because we wanted to have our own in-house product that can facilitate people transferring their positions in pools to another party that might be interested in taking that up.
And those of you guys who are watching, if you're not familiar, the Bistro is going to be an OTC, and that's an over-the-counter trading platform that they're creating. What's nice about over-the-counter is it doesn't provide a huge amount of slippage when you're buying and selling, especially on some of those smaller liquidity pools that we were talking about earlier. So you can set the price and someone can agree to it, and two parties via a smart protocol, a smart contract protocol that can actually make sure that they facilitate that trade at that price that both parties agree to. So I think it's brilliant to have. I'm hoping you guys will also extend that into the future to individual tokens and not just percentages of stake pools too.
It 100% is. It's already we're already putting that out there. The ERC20s are viable, as well as PRC20s. So it's not stopping at just our pool token. It's good for everything that's out there. There might be some funky.
You've muted yourself again, TD.
You did it again.
Yeah.
I'm not muting myself, so I'm not sure why that is.
Might be internet.
So go ahead.
Yeah, it could be. Totally could be.
We have a storm rolling through here, so go ahead. Then.
So, it's going to help address issues where there are illiquid coins, and there are some in this community ecosystem. And so, as you said, it can avoid that issue and slippage. So yeah, we think it has.
The last thing is when someone comes in to buy coin, and it's just as beneficial for the people buying as those selling. Obviously, you don't want less money than your token's worth when you're selling it, but at the same time, you also don't want the price running up on yourself, especially with a sandwich attack if you're trying to buy a Uniswap on a small liquidity pool. So there's advantages both ways. I want to touch real quick on why I think protocols like this are important. I've talked about some other DeFi tools out there recently on this channel. I've also talked about the building on top of a T-share, so to speak. And one thing I like about this is whether it's our Hex Investment Trust in the legacy finance space for accredited investors now and hopefully available on the NASDAQ to the public in the future, or with the MCR 369 and more specifically with Steakhouse, the ability for people to create and recreate, and some of these other tokens have done this too, almost another OA that is just gobbling up supply that is staked so far out into the future. Now the staking rewards may come down, but I think more people in the community are more interested in USD price going up. And those of you guys who have been in this community long enough understand that you either get a really high APY or you get a really high price, and it's kind of a teeter-totter effect, so to speak. And I like the idea that I'm a big fan, especially since I have a legacy finance product already out there on the market that's available. I like the idea that my investors in other things, or just the coin itself, my new onboards are seeing a price appreciation of the coin go up as there's less and less supply available on the market to buy. So I really like that you guys are doing it in the way of creating almost another OA. Yeah,
and so there is no So obviously some of the problems we wanted to tackle, the primary one was, we've experienced the gas situation on an end stake fee.
Yeah.
So we wanted to solve that. So there is when you start initiate a pool and people get in the pool, there's obviously going to be a small fee. It is going to be more expensive than going and doing one directly, marginally. However, you get all the benefits that we've already spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
Where the magic happens also is the end, because we know the end is the one that really stings the most.
Yep.
And without going through some of the technical aspects, because we have already probably said too much in previous.
We'll do a follow up on this. Yeah, we'll okay. So I apologize for that, guys, but we will do a follow up on this going forward.
I wasn't you. You've got nothing to apologize for, but we came out at the start when we first streamed and said, well, let's try and explain as much as we can. And that was before we knew there was potentially going to be competition. And that came apparent pretty quick. And then we're like, right, we're going to have to, obviously we've said what we said, but let's just not go any deeper. But basically on a basic level, we want to save people on the end state gas fee. We've come up with a really good solution, and it's built into the contract. So not we'll have a donation address and hopefully someone does it. Like, this is built in, coded solution. And so if 2 people are in there, they're paying half. If 4 people, it's quartered. 10 people, 10% each. 20 people, 5% each. So it's
I think that's really important. I don't want to glance over that too quickly, because if there was a situation where hopefully a benefactor whale comes in and pays the fee, and then that's a lot of hope and hopium for people out there to extract the value out of the system. Since it's coded in already, I think it's really important for people to know that you guys have already planned ahead that this can be done regardless. And then the person or the let's just say no one loses on that fee when it comes to paying that in stake fee, when it costs it, whatever it costs in gas, that it's already coded to make things fair for that individual. Yeah.
And it does have a cap. So at 20, that's 5% each, 100% covered. So they're saving 95%. And when you run those numbers on some of the horrific end stake fees we've seen, that's an amazing saving, which then gives them an opportunity to buy more hex. Okay. Yep. Anyone after the 20, 21, 22, they're all just paying 5% and saving 95. And any surplus revenue generated is feeding back to the MCR token holders.
Love it. I love it. I wanted you guys to be the ones to say it, because I think that's the fairest way to do it. And then no one gets taken as the one that eats all the costs and the shorts. And then you don't have to worry about someone making sure to be there from the team 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the way, making sure that the button gets pushed. So the participants of the pool are actually incentivized to do so.
And if you're in the staking pool with the MCR 369 token, you're building up gas for the future, right?
Yep.
So it's potential. There's a potential here for you to set up a system. A red squirrel will go nuts with this, right? There's a potential.
I love that guy. Freaking squirrel,
nut, right?
Yeah.
There's a potential here for you to set up a staking pool, your staking position within the Magic Carburized 369 token to cover your gas fees for existing stakes.
Yes.
For those people who stake text natively, or those people who are in the Hedron ecosystem and they have HSIs out there that need to unstake eventually. MCR 369 token is going to build native token gas for you, as well as Hedron. Really important. Another thing we like to touch on with that receipt token that we kind of glance over sometimes, if you have a compromised wallet, it's important, right? If you've lost
You're muted again. He's muted again.
your seed phrases, or you feel like there's go ahead then, Ty.
No,
Ty, can you hear me?
We can hear you again.
You're back in.
Okay. If you have a wallet that's been compromised, take your tokens out of that wallet, set up a new ledger or Trezor, put them in that wallet. These are movable, just like HSIs. That's one of the best parts of HSIs is having the ability to move them around.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the beautiful thing at that is if somebody does make the mistake of using a MetaMask only account to do that, you don't even have to wait for it to be compromised. You can move it today. You can set up that ledger today.
Move that to that ledger today.
And put them in a safe spot right now. You don't have to wait for it to be compromised.
Well, I really appreciate your guys' time and I respect your time. So I don't want to take too much more of it, but I do want to touch real quick on what your guys' thoughts on, because I know you guys have thought this through, how this benefits the no coiner that just comes into the system and doesn't quite understand Hex. I see this as being a big boon to it. Can you guys tell me some of the thoughts you guys have had within your team on how this benefits the newcomer into the ecosystem?
I can start with this. Can you hear me, Ty?
Right? We can hear you.
All right, just make sure we're having a storm come through in California. So
hey, I did a DeFi tool stream not too long ago and had the same issue. We had snow bringing down lines, so I understand. Yeah,
it's crazy. The barrier to entry in Hex was apparent, especially during the pump that happened during the pulse chain sacrifice and that pump that happened afterwards, right? There was several people who would come in to chat and say, I staked 5,000 Hex just to see how to work this thing, and the yield that I got didn't even cover the gas that I had to pay to get my Hex back out. That barrier to entry, if you're in a pool that has 20 people or more, has been dropped by 95%. So that's huge. So now, instead, if I have, no matter what gas fees are, right? If I have a pool that is at 20 people or more, and I have 100,000 Hex, I can actually split that bag and start a staking ladder. I could put that into 5 different 20,000 Hex stakes and move that across 5 different rungs to my ladder. It's a great way to start.
I like it, guys.
On top of that, I think just the marketing opportunity for Hex, it's going to amplify that, because Hex, it's an amazing product. But if you're already in it, there's not much to do. You've got your ladder, you're staked out, so you spend most of your time hanging out, having holidays, doing real life stuff, educating, whatever. You're not actually doing much anymore in the Hex.
It gets boring, is what you're saying.
It
gets boring sitting around and watching your yield every day.
So now we've got this whole interactive social element where a stake gets initiated, it gets populated on our analytics dashboard. It automatically gets populated to Twitter by a Twitter bot, just like the Hex whale chart bot that says, a 0x just bought 400,000 Hex and staked it for blah, 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 and got X amount of T-shares. So we're going to have all that good stuff. So people that start a pool, they can go and retweet that pool if they want. So we wanted to keep that stickiness and that interaction and the fun. Charities, sports clubs, companies, friends, family, they can all get involved and start their own pools. So we've had people come into our Telegram talking about what they want to do and what it means for them. So
it becomes another community tool in that regard.
David doing a tour. Maybe he'll do a tour and he opens it for 30 days, and every state he visits, he onboards. By the way,
people. The captain RG3 just started traveling, doing some of these tours. So it's not a world tour; it's a United States tour. Dollar Cost Crypto went ahead and just threw it out there as a world tour, but that's something that it's something we didn't want to cost the community anything, but we wanted to get the DeFi tools and the RH ecosystem out there in front of people. So it's something that we're going to be doing here in the future, near future.
If we had this out before, RG3 goes traveling and it's all audited and he's comfortable and all that good stuff, he could potentially use that as an onboarding tool. So people are like, oh, we'd love to get involved, but we've heard about the gas issues. Well, he's got a solution.
I love it. Well, hey guys, we're going to get going here in just a moment, but I love this. And I think we're going to need a follow-up, if not before, definitely not long after launch happens. I think we're going to need to follow up on progress. I think we're going to need to track the amount of pools and the kind of economic energy that's going through them, I think it's going to be very fascinating to see how this actually becomes more of a community tool in ways that we can't even foresee here. And I think there's going to be use cases for this that people haven't even thought of yet. And I think that's really cool. I think that's really neat that the community is going to be able to back up and support some of these pools and the causes that those pools themselves will support. So I really appreciate this. Before you guys leave, is there any last words you guys would like to say?
We're looking to get it out in under 90 days. So when we started the streams, the first week, it was around 90 days. Obviously, sometimes past, it's already being developed by Solidity devs and front end. We got UI UX experts because we really want to create an amazing experience on the front end. We think that's just as equally as important. That it be very intuitive, easy to understand, informative, all that good stuff. So yeah, we're looking around 90 days for Steakhouse and MCR 369. The OTC might be 30 days behind.
Okay. Love it, guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys' time today. Thank you so much. And hold on one second here, guys.
Welcome to Magic Carpet Ride, a community dedicated to making hex staking accessible to everyone. Staking hex on Ethereum is a fantastic way to earn high yield, but the high gas fees and the Ethereum price often make it difficult for small stakers to participate. In many cases, the cost of unstaking is greater than the yield received, causing many participants to worry about the future transaction fees and Ethereum price. Introducing Steakhouse, a fully trustless hex staking protocol that makes staking hex accessible to everyone on Ethereum. Collaborate with other hexagons, pool your stakes, and split gas fees to make it more affordable for everyone to participate. Plus, the larger the pool, the bigger pays better bonus. Best of all, there are no middlemen or admin keys to worry about, giving you peace of mind while you stake. Steakhouse is versatile. Anyone can create a pool, and Steakhouse will automatically post it on Twitter for all to see and join. This is a great introduction to the Hex community and helps decrease gas costs and increase the bigger pays better bonus for all. Steakhouse can also be used to create a new rung on the staking ladder for those who have heard about staking ladders but don't have enough Hex to start. Steakhouse pools can be used to teach new community members about this powerful strategy. Even whales can benefit from Steakhouse by working with smaller hex holders to max out the 150 million hex bigger pays better bonus. Hex on Ethereum is far from dead, and Magic Carpet Ride is doing its part to make sure hex staking is accessible to everyone. Join our mission to #HexTogether and start staking hex today with Steakhouse. Visit 0xsteakhouse.io today.
I had to join with the Pulse Chain hat because they are going to be supporting the system. Everyone else on stream had a Pulse Chain hat on. I felt a little bit left out. I think we're going to have to do some follow-up on this because I'm really excited and really bullish on what this can do in the way of a community tool. So thank you guys all for joining us. Make sure to stay tuned to this channel so that we can keep you informed on some of the new DeFi tools coming out in the future.